Welcome to the Eating at a Meeting podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Stuckrath, dietary needs expert, certified meetings manager, certified food protection manager. I have searched the globe to find people and businesses who are creating safe, sustainable, and inclusive food and beverage experiences for their employees, guests, and communities. In each episode, you will find authentic conversations about how food and beverage impacts inclusion, sustainability, culture, community, health, and wellness. I know that sounds like a lot, but we're going to cover it all. Are you ready to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line? If so, let's go.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Eating at a Meeting. I am here with my friends Sera and Kristin. This is a special episode because we're all members of La Dames d'Escoffier and the North Carolina chapter. I'm president, Sera's vice president, Kristin's a wonderful member. And we want to talk to you about what we're doing this Christmas, or this holiday season, I should say, to raise money for an organization called Feed Well Fridges that Sera founded and spread some holiday joy. So welcome, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Hello. Okay, so who wants to talk about what La Dames is? Who's been the longest member? Who wants to talk about that?
We are a philanthropic international organization. We mentor young women. We have scholarships, and we fundraise. We are a group in North Carolina, but we also are all over the country and all over other countries outside of America. And we are women in hospitality, be that chefs, cookbook authors, nutritionists, anything like that.
Podcast hosts. Speakers, yeah. Yeah, a wide variety. I mean, all over. And I think there's about 2,600 of us worldwide. Here in North Carolina, Kristin, you're a chef at the Katie House at UNC Chapel Hill. Sera, you own 2 restaurants. We've got Vivian and Stephanie in Winston-Salem who own a restaurant, Sweet Potatoes. Cindy McGann's in the Outer Banks. We've got Susie and Lori and Asheville, a wide variety of people across the board. So and as Sera said, we do fundraising. And one of the things that we're doing fundraising for, or this year that we're doing fundraising, is we're doing a cookie drive. And Kristin, tell us, because you're the one that proposed that idea to us. So where did you get the idea, and what was the impetus for us to do this?
So I think we were all kind of searching for something to do for a fundraiser. We haven't really reached out in fundraising for a while because of all the things that's going on in our country and in the world. So this was a good opportunity to find something that could bring some of the chefs together and kind of start small and figure out if this would be a good fit for our chapter. I got this idea from a group of restaurateurs and chefs in Calgary, Alberta, who are amazing up there. And they've been doing this for, I think, about 5 or 6 years. It might be longer. It might be less. I think it's around 5 or 6 years. And they came up with this idea on how to do a fundraiser and bring a whole bunch of different chefs together and give back to the community by doing different fundraising, finding a really good place to donate the money to, but also bring the community of the restaurateurs and chefs together. And their cookie sales have been amazing to kind of watch throughout the years. So it's been a really fun look. We kind of threw this one together, starting it small and just seeing how it works. But really, they're the ones that have put the blueprint for us to get started. So Liana Roberek in Calgary, Alberta was the one that my contact, and Jason McKay, who really get that ball rolling up there.
Awesome. And Sera, what have we done here in the North Carolina area? How many of our DOMs, who's making cookies, and how many boxes have we sold, et cetera?
There is probably 12 of us making cookies, maybe more. We've sold over 140, which is like 1,800 cookies, which is a lot of cookies. We'll have an assortment of all different cookies, ranging from chocolate to Oreo to everything.
Awesome. And let me see if I can put a little picture up here that shows us what we're doing. Oh, I know how we can show I have the graphic I have the QR code. If you want to buy cookies, you can scan this QR code to do that. They're on sale until Saturday. But okay, so the other part of this cookie sale, because we are doing fundraising, what kind of cookies are we making? First of all, I know Kristin and I were talking about how she's making 2 different types. What are you all doing? What are we doing?
I have done a lemon shortbread type cookie. I've made a cookies and cream cookie. It's like a kind of a little riff on a chocolate chip cookie, but it's got the Oreo cookies and cream flavor to it. And then I did a chocolate chip, potato chip cookie. So it's going to have a little sweet, a little salty.
Wow. And Sera, what are you making?
I am making it's called a fruitcake cookie. So it's like a shortbread, but then it's got all the fruit and nuts in it. And then I'm going to make a second cookie, and I'm thinking a black cocoa and peppermint cookie. So it's like a peppermint bark kind of cookie.
Wow. And I'm looking for my window. There we go. Share. Hey, look, there's our little cookie sale. Okay. So, and I'm going to make the wedding cookie, which is the confectioner's sugar with pecans. It's all rolled in together and then rolled in confectioner's sugar. And then an oatmeal, peanut butter, no bake chocolate cookie. So, and then the ones that Ty Whitaker from Buttermilk Boutique is making, those looked really good that she had done.
They smelled really good.
What do you mean they smelled really good? Were you near her?
Yeah, on Monday on TV, she made one of the cookies she's making.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we were on TV.
Cranberry chocolate, and it smelled delicious. I didn't get one.
No.
No.
No. Okay, so part of this fundraising, because we are fundraising, Sera, Feed Well Fridges. Tell us about Feed Well Fridges and how you got that idea, and what does Feed Well Fridges do?
So I got the idea from the New York Dom's Conference 2 years ago from Aubrey in Eating Greater Des Moines. And I talked to her about it, and I came home and I thought more about it. And then I reached out to her, and she sent me this great little pamphlet on how to build a refrigerator and a bunch of other things. So it probably took us about a year in the making to get it all set up. We had to get nonprofit status and all those kind of things. So we've done all that kind of stuff. And then we put our first fridge maybe 3-4 months ago in Chatham County. And then we've added 2 more since. And what it really is to do is to feed the community, fight restaurant and grocery store food waste. And so what we do is we go to grocery stores, hey, what are you doing with your leftovers? Like, what are you doing with your things? And they tell us, oh, we throw it in the trash or whatnot. So we're like, oh, you can give it to us. We explain why. And then every morning, my wife and I, we go and we pick it up from Lowe's grocery store, a lot of restaurants here in North Carolina. Kristin calls me once a week and says, come get your food. I have it. And then we repurpose it and turn it into food. Or if we don't need to, we just put it back in the fridge. So we get a lot of produce from local farms too, and meat from local farmers. And I mean, it's just been amazing. The comments we get back from people saying, oh my God, I don't have to worry about if I'm going to get my medicine this month or buy groceries. So,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
we're making a big difference. 40% of the food that is sent to grocery stores or whatnot is automatically wasted. It takes about 20% of the world's water to grow that food. So we're already wasting food or wasting water. I'm happy that we're getting all this leftover food, but the bigger problem is the wasting of food.
So how many you said you have 3 refrigerators up?
I have 3 refrigerators, one in Siler City of North Carolina, one here in Pittsburgh at Cora Food Bank, and then the third we put in about a week and a half ago at Cedar Grove United Methodist Church.
And when I posted this in my neighborhood Google group here in New Bern, North Carolina, I got a text message from a friend and saying, okay, when are we getting a fridge here in New Bern?
It'll be a while.
It'll be a while?
Well, I mean, it's hard because we're making the food at the restaurant. We're going to start with Chatham County and then slowly leak into the counties around us, like Wake and Orange and Lee and those kind of counties, versus going straight all over the state.
Okay.
And you'll need leads too, right? You'll need other chefs and stuff to be.
I'll need other people to do things. We need to have a warehouse where we make the food versus using my kitchen. We're already outgrowing the kitchen here.
And that's in Pittsburgh or Chapel Hill?
In Pittsburgh.
Okay. So, tell me about other chefs putting food in there, or are you you're getting the donations from a variety of different, like the grocery stores and things, and you're making food from that? Or do you have other restaurants and food purveyors actually giving you leftover food that's been time and temperature controlled in the back of the house to put in that fridge.
Yep. So Kristin at the sorority house donates food every week of her leftovers that she has. 39 West here in Pittsburgh, they donate their leftover catering. Bill at Postal will have stuff left over. But the biggest supporters right now are Lowe's Grocery and the farmers.
Wow.
And U.S. Foods. I mean, U.S. Foods has been huge. They give me a lot. I got a whole 18-wheeler or whatever you call those trucks full of food a couple months, like a month ago. Yep.
Wow. And then you're turning around and making that into food, into meals.
Yep. So we've probably made, personally here, Root Cellar has made about 5,000 meals. And every day we're probably putting 70 to 90 pounds of food in the fridgers.
Wow. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And based on the refrigerators where they are you seeing people as regulars? I don't.
Oh, yeah. In Siler City, people line up. So they know about when, because our volunteers come, they go every day, and Monday is always the same volunteer. So they kind of get used to what time that volunteer goes. And they'll be lined up waiting for the volunteer. And within an hour, the food's gone.
Wow. Within an hour.
Yeah.
And so somebody's going to ask the question, and I know I'm just practicing with all of this stuff. Sorry, I'm making us go all over the screen. Who's monitoring? And I know you said anybody can take it. So can somebody clear out the whole fridge, or are people just being really cognizant and taking what they need?
People are being very fair and taking what they need. There are people who take a lot more than others, but we don't know how many people they're feeding at their house. Like, they're not just feeding themselves, but we don't monitor it. Sometimes we'll still be there while they're getting their food, or we'll talk to them, stuff like that, and ask them questions. But yeah, it's free, no questions asked kind of thing.
Awesome. And can you talk more about the need in the county of how many people are actually food insecure?
So 1 in 6 in Chatham, and I think the whole state is food insecure. That is insane, since there's 3 of us sitting right here. Mm-hmm. If there was 3 more, one of us would know where our next meal was coming from. And that's not just, that's kids too. So the kids might get a meal at school, but what happens on the weekends? What happens during summer break, winter break? They aren't getting that meal. And it's a human right. I mean, it's a human right for everybody to have a good meal. And I think we overlook that.
Definitely, especially in this time of the year as well. I mean, it goes on all year long, but it's also the holiday season. Yeah. So we're going to be providing some really good meals for people this time of year. What kind of meals are you providing? Are you doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Are you doing dinners? What is that?
It's everything. So like today this weekend I got a half of a cow donated from somebody.
Wow.
Yes.
Are you breaking it down yourself?
No. She had it broken down. The woman used to be an ag professor. Okay. And so she just buys cow and doesn't use a lot of it. I mean, there was some odd things, and she's like, "Oh, can I donate this to you?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she came and she brought all this beef, and she's like, "Well, I'll be getting another one in a couple months." So, and I'm like, "Okay." So I made some beef stew today with a bunch of mushrooms that I got, and mushrooms and carrots that I got donated from Lowe's. That I had potatoes here. And then I also, U.S. Foods the other day brought me a bunch of random seafood. So I made a seafood chowder out of that today. But usually, like at the end of Sunday brunch, all the grits, we scramble all the eggs that we have cracked. We portion that out. We put them with grits, or we put them with the potatoes. And then we cook off all the leftover pancakes, and we put that in there. If we have oatmeal or French toast, whatever we have left over from brunch, we package up. And then we do the same thing at Saturday when we end our Saturday service. We'll pack that up. So they're getting like chef-inspired meals. Like they're getting something that somebody would come here and get. It's not like we're just like, here, let's throw this stuff together. We think everything through when we do it.
All right, Kristin, coming from your perspective as a chef, and we'll just consider, Sera, I know it's a restaurant, but Kristin, you're an outside restaurant from the organization. So what are you doing, and how are you packaging it up to put into these fridges?
So we serve lunch and dinner every day, Monday through Friday. So if, say, one of my meals, only half the girls show up and I have a lot of leftovers of that one, I just package it up as if it was that meal. So like last week we had pretzel chicken, mac and cheese, and green beans. So everything goes in just a little Tupperware container, just as if it was a to-go meal. And I just call her up and say, hey, I have 20 of these. Or last week I had a lot of leftovers. So I gave her almost about 80 meals, I think, total.
Wow.
So we do, if it's sometimes it's tenderloin, sometimes it's salmon and basmati rice.
That's like a nice meal.
Yeah.
They're getting really nice meals. And like some of these things probably they've never even had before, because like it's really hard to try this different stuff. So it's really kind of a really great way for us to give back and to not have a whole bunch of leftovers. And it really kind of gives us something to give back to this organization also and support Sera.
So, okay. So I'm going to, in doing my speaking around the country, I get a lot of people, meeting planners, that are told by hotels and convention centers, well, we can't donate because we're going to get sued. You both are doing this. And under that, there's the Food Donation Improvement Act, which does protects you liability wise on making these donations. So how do the two of you answer that question or that statement? Like, you're going to get sued.
So I'm covered because no money's changing hands or anything. There's an act, and I can't remember it. It's something like a Good Samaritan Act, but it has
Bill Emerson, Good Samaritan.
Yeah, Good Bill. And I mean, I was lucky enough that UNC Law School did all of our paperwork and everything for the nonprofit. So they even injected everything, and they're like, no, you're covered. The only thing would be is if somebody decided they were going to poison somebody, and that doesn't happen. But, everything comes in, it gets refrigerated, it gets cooled down, it gets cooked, and then it gets refrigerated, and then it gets packed. So nothing really sits out, nothing like that. If we get something from Lowe's and I'm like, I don't think this is good, and we just throw it away right then and there.
Okay. And Kristin, from your perspective in donating this, do you have any qualms, or how do you answer other restaurateurs or conference centers and hotels that say this?
Well, for me, like, I'm not going to package up a meal that I cooked a week ago. So if it's within your window of a leftover, right? That's what it is, a leftover. Mm-hmm. How long do you let your leftovers last in the fridge, right? So for me, I don't eat anything after 7 days. Like, if I cook it on Wednesday, if it's not gone by Wednesday, then I usually don't eat it. But I cook my meals on Sunday and I eat them all the way through Sunday. So I always feel like if it's something that I cooked on Wednesday and I package it on Thursday, she picks it up on Friday, it stays in the refrigerator all those time. I cook it to temperature, cool it down, whatever. I don't see an issue in it. I think that a problem with a lot of restaurants and stuff, we're throwing away so much food, and there's so many things that people can be eating. And there's a lot of people in our community alone that aren't getting a balanced meal. And there should be no reason for it, because we all have these leftover things every single night of a week. So, and most of the restaurants nowadays are closed on Sundays and Mondays. So that's a good time to get rid of some of the stuff that sits around, and they can start fresh on that Thursday or whatever. So I feel like if everyone kind of gets the word out and these chefs kind of put a little bit of time into it, it'll make a huge impact on our community.
And how do you, the Tupperware containers and things, are you writing those costs off? What are you doing? And how you're packaging this up?
Yeah, they're part donated. I mean, I think a lot of us all kind of can get some things donated through our big purveyors. I know Sarah's trying to work a little bit on that too. I bought a whole bunch from a retail that sells them pretty cheap. So I feel like it's just part of it. Like, you're giving back, and it's just a very small part of the cost.
And I know that people have also said, well, we don't have leftovers at the end of the day. I mean, is that a bunk question or a bunk statement? I mean, do restaurants and hotels and typically have stuff at the end of the day?
Yeah. It's funny though that when I reached out to a lot of restaurants in the beginning, they're like, we don't have leftovers, because it's that stigma that they don't want everybody to know they have leftovers, or something didn't sell, or they're not super busy. But no matter what you do, something's not going to sell. You're going to make soup. You always have it left over. You can't reheat it day after day after day after day. It can only last out there for X amount of hours. And I'm just like, okay, great. Good thing you're so busy. Why don't you just order me $50 worth of pasta? And it's still like, oh no, you know what? And I'm like, okay, then you just don't want to help.
Why part of it's for sure.
Is that they don't want to help, or do they think that, or they don't have the time to do it?
I just think they don't want to. I mean, I think the fit comes down to it is that they just don't want to. And I hate to say that.
Yeah, it's a new concept too, right? So I think once this concept gets out and people are seeing that it's really not that much extra work, they could do it as like if someone's making a staff meal. Like it doesn't take very long to do something. And maybe that's what everyone kind of needs to see. I think it is a new concept, and some people are really scared of it. Like, do we give this food away, or are we going to make someone sick? If your restaurant is thinking that after like a day, leftovers from a day, then there's more problems and issues for them than it is for us. And we don't want that kind of food. But, I think part of it is it's just a new concept. Everyone's afraid of something new. So once they see how great it is and how it's catching on, they'll want to be a part of it.
Well, and somebody just posted on here, and I like this idea. Have you created an Amazon wish list so people can donate containers? I've noticed that one of our pantry groups in northern New Jersey does that, other items too. That I know who that person is. Hi, Nancy.
So I haven't done that yet, only for the fact that we're just so new, but we have fridges, and then on the side, Hope Renovations here is going to make us pantries. So that'll have a door and then you can open it, so like that. So once that happens, it'll be much easier, because right now it's just a fridge. And like, if we get bread and stuff from a bakery, we put it in Rubbermaids next to it. So once we have all that kind of stuff, I would like to do that. But I don't also want to add more plastic and stuff out there. I mean, we're putting a lot of plastic out there with the little meals. So I don't want to say, hey, we can get plates and we can get that stuff. But it would be nice to do it so that people could buy the containers we put things in, or just things you can get on Amazon, like pasta and the dry goods.
Right. Okay. Awesome. That's a great idea. I'm going to put our little thing back up here as well. So Sera, Kristin, and I are all members. Nancy just clarified that was meant for the person donating the food that's in type and paper lids. So yeah, if they want to do that. Yeah. The Sera, Kristin, and I over here are part of La Dame's Day Escoffier, and we're La Dame's North Carolina, and we are doing a holiday cookie sale, and we've got 12 to 14 chefs as part of our chapter making cookies. Cookies are on sale until this Saturday, and you can buy them on this QR code. You don't have to be in the state of North Carolina to order your cookies. Well, you don't have to be in the state of North Carolina to actually participate, because you can actually make a cash donation if you want. We do have pickup locations in, where are we? Chapel Hill at Sera's Restaurant Root Cellar Cafe, in Pittsburgh at The Plant. Is that right, Sera?
Yep.
And then The Plate, is that where it is in Raleigh?
Yeah, it's Plates.
The Plates, and our member our Dom, Ty Whitaker, will be there. And then actually in New Bern, North Carolina, I live 2 hours east of Raleigh, but I am actually going to be bringing a shipment back after we package them up on Monday for anybody who in New Bern wants to buy some cookies. So, and I think we actually have 13 orders already for New Bern.
Wow. Awesome.
So my mom was buying some. I'm like, I might as well put it out there to the neighborhood. So, all right, ladies, is there anything, we're going to film live on Sunday when we're baking, and Monday when we're packaging. Is there anything else you want to say about the cookie?
I would just say that you guys are going to get cookies from some of North Carolina's like best chefs and pastry chefs. Like, who wouldn't want a dozen cookies or two? Get a dozen for the neighbor or whatnot. But it's kind of a really great opportunity.
Yeah. Let's see. Let us bake for you. And what we've been putting out on social media, I'm like, you might want the cookies yourself. You might be buying them for somebody that really, is it for you or is it for somebody else? Or you've got a holiday cookie party that you have to go to. Actually, some lady wrote in, like, I'm so excited. She bought like 7 dozen so she can give them away as gifts.
Yeah. I know who that one is.
You do.
Yep.
And Sera, your mom's bought some. My mom has bought some.
We bought some.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
So we're super excited about this. So here's our slide. You can use that QR code or just go to the website down there on Bitly website and order or make a cash donation as well. And the cash donation, Sera, the cash that we're going to give you, what are you going to use that for?
Well, we'll probably buy another refrigerator for one of the other places that has asked for refrigerators.
So you have people asking you for fridges.
Oh, yeah. Siler wants at least wants one more, and we're working on it. They could probably handle 2. Goldston asked for 1. Bear Creek. I don't remember the town, but it's one of my pork farmers comes from, and it's at the corner of Chatham and Randolph. And she's like, we have nothing out there. We could really use one out there. So people keep reaching out, knowing what we're doing, wanting them for this area.
Okay. And all right, I want to just do one more clarification. Community fridges. I mean, it's out there. And I know Aubrey in Des Moines was sharing this too, is like the neighborhoods start to manage them and start to own them and really take care of them and want to make sure that people are fed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been great.
You don't have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the volunteers also always make sure we send them with like sanitizer and towels so that they can always make sure it's clean. But we very rarely go to a fridge and find like the fruit open and like tossed around and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Somebody put a plant next to the fridge in Siler the other day. So, and it's really cute because we'll see that somebody will get food, but then canned goods will end up on top of the fridge, and we're like, and they're
wow,
we wanted this, but we wanted to also help. And I was like those are really cute things.
Right. Yeah. So they're giving back to whoever's helping them in the first place.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. So Kristin, anything else you want to say? I'm so excited about this. We're going to have so much fun.
I'm super excited. I think this is going to be a really fun year, and I can't wait to see how this grows even more next year.
Yeah, because, and actually tell us about, all right, let's go back to us, all 3 of us here. Your friend in Calgary, so they started out, they sold $5,000 the first year, and what are they selling now?
First year, their amount was $5,000, and then this year they've raised over $58,000.
Okay, that is our goal. How many years did it take them to get there?
I'm not exactly sure. I really feel like it's been 5 years. It could be more. It could be even less. I'm not sure. They are rock stars up there, so they're definitely someone for us to kind of follow and copy. They're okay with it. They want us to succeed. They love this time of year. They do a big convention with it, and people come and do it a little bit of a different way than we're doing it this year, but as we grow and get better ideas and see how it works, Santa Claus might show up one year. You never know.
Right,
so,
exactly.
So I'm super excited to see where this goes. They have been great role models, and man, it would be great to raise $58,000 for Feed Well Fridges and our other organizations for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, and thank you to WRAL for hosting us, Sera and Ty. What was that, on Monday, to talk about it as well. So thank you to them for doing that. So everybody, thank you so much. Thank the 2 of you, first of all, for doing what you're doing and I'm so proud to be part of La Dame Escoffier with you because we have so much fun and we're helping the community. And if you want to make any donations to our holiday cookie sale, there's a QR code in the website. Please join us in doing that. And until this is the Eating at a Meeting broadcast as well. And I will be here next week. We're going to talk about 2024 food and beverage trends. So that'll be exciting to see what we're going to see on the platters and plates of events coming forward. So everybody, until then, stay safe and eat well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Eating at a Meeting podcast, where every meal matters. I'm Tracy Stuckrath, your food and beverage inclusion expert. Call me and let's get started right now on creating safe and inclusive food and beverage experiences for your customers, your employees, and your communities. Share the podcast with your friends and colleagues at our Eating at a Meeting Facebook page and on all podcast platforms. To learn more about me and receive valuable information, go to tracystuckrath.com. And if you'd like more information on how to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line, then visit eatingatameeting.com.